I want you all to say, water is life. So let's test that out. Miniwachoni.
Water is life.
Miniwachoni.
Water is life.
Miniwachoni.
Water is life.
All right. So first, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming out tonight in solidarity with the Native Nations March on Washington that happened earlier today. Just got to see some really awesome photos, and I'm super excited about the turnout there. Our spirits here in Murfreesboro are bolstered tonight by a smudging I know is going on for us in Memphis. I know we've got good medicine being sent our way from Oklahoma, and I know we have prayers coming at us from Sami, both here in the US and in Scandinavia. We are stronger than we appear and much stronger than we feel, particularly than I feel right now. I wanted to start by acknowledging that we are standing on stolen land. This is unceded land. Everything we say and do today occurs in the context of settler colonialism and the imperialist history of this country. It shapes every aspect of our lives and our interactions with each other, whether we see it or not. And I would like everyone to remember that. Now, that's sort of a sobering way to begin a rally, but it's of utmost importance that, in a political atmosphere in which cries of "we are all immigrants" are frequently heard, we acknowledge and remember that we are not, in fact, all immigrants. The Standing Rock Sioux put out a call last year to Indigenous people and others around the world for aid. Many peoples, tribes, and nations answered that call. My people, the Sami, answered, and many of those peoples who responded were there today at the March in Washington. Many of us couldn't make it to Standing Rock before the camps were destroyed, and we couldn't make it to Washington today, but we could make it to the square in Murfreesboro tonight, and we are here. My presence here tonight is my answer to the Sioux, both on behalf of the Sami people and the people of Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee. Your presence here is also a response to that call, and I am honored to share that space with you now. But we can't stop here. Rallies look nice and they feel good. They're important, but in order to effect meaningful and lasting change, we need more. We need movement. We need a movement. To that end, I ask you tonight to join me in getting Murfreesboro, and hopefully Franklin and Nashville, to divest from the banks supporting the Dakota Access Pipeline. I ask you to divest your own money from these banks. This is how we will rise with Standing Rock. I will tell you more on the steps we can take to achieve that goal later. But first, I want to recognize, celebrate, and amplify the voices of our Native friends and neighbors. You don't speak for marginalized people, you pass the mic, this time quite literally. So our first speaker tonight will be Albert Bender, if you'd like to come on up.
Of the turnout that we have here this evening. Brian mentioned that, yeah, this is unceded land, and I would say that in particular this strikes home to me because I'm Cherokee, and this is Cherokee land. People say to me, well, this is former Cherokee land? I said, no, this is still Cherokee land. Because the passage of time does not lessen the thievery that took place in taking our land from us. It's like if a thief takes something from you, then he holds it for years and years and decades. That doesn't make what the thief holds his. It's still yours. And the thievery of this land has taken place all throughout the country. I mean, we have to look at the fact that myself, quite frankly, I don't recognize the existence of the state of Tennessee. But I'm not crazy. I have to abide by the laws of the state of Tennessee because law is based upon force. Certain laws that if I don't obey, gosh, I'm going to jail. But again, I don't recognize the legality of the state of Tennessee because it's based upon fraudulent treaties that took place over 200 years ago. And in the Cherokee perspective of things, the United States is a very young country. We existed as a nation for thousands of years before the formation of the United States, and we also have the concept that one day our land will be ours again. In reference to the divestment and looking at what can be done in Murfreesboro, I want to share a thing or two with you. In December, in fact, December the 4th to be exact, the Native community in Nashville, we were able to get past a resolution in the city by the Metro City Council, and this is a copy of it here. And I'd like to share this with Brian in the sense of this can be a jumping off point for the divestment struggle that's now being waged. And I think the main way to proceed with this, of course, is to find favorable council people and proceed with them to take the initiative in going forward with something of this nature. And that's the way this took place in Nashville. And again, Nashville made history in that regard. A couple of things I want to mention before we go any further. I just received information yesterday that the infamous Donald Trump will be here in Nashville on Wednesday, the 15th. And this particular infamous personality, and I won't refer to him as president because he's not my president, obviously. And I can say without any reluctance that in the history of this country, I've never had a president. And I say that in all sincerity. There's no one who has been president that I regard as my president, because no president has responded adequately to the plight of Native American peoples. I don't care whether it's Democrat or Republican. So Trump will be here on Wednesday the 15th, and sometime in the morning he's going to make a visit reportedly to the Hermitage. And myself and other people, we're calling for a demonstration at the Hermitage on the 15th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we would hope that all of you who are available to attend would come out for that demonstration. Now, there are some logistical factors involved because he is considered by mainstream society as president. Some of the roads will be closed down, et cetera, et cetera. And we will be posting details of the demo to take place on Facebook, because we'll have to have a gathering place probably somewhere considerably away from the Hermitage. And myself and other people over the years, we've had demonstrations at the Hermitage, particular demonstrations on the birthday of that infamous Indian killer, Andrew Jackson. And Trump, he's coming here because he is an advocate and a real admirer of the policies of Andrew Jackson. He hung a portrait of Andrew Jackson in the Oval Office on February the 24th, which was the same day that he signed the infamous memorandum promoting the Dakota Access Pipeline and resurrecting from the grave the Keystone XL pipeline. But again, keep in mind that date and time, 10 o'clock a.m. Wednesday. I wish to also mention the fact of the demonstration of thousands upon thousands of Native American people and their allies that took place in Washington, D.C. today. We're still getting information on all that transpired at that particular demonstration, but apparently it was a great success, and there are further demonstrations and rallies that are going to be planned in connection with the one that took place today. Information I've received so far is that there's going to be a rally or a large Native American contingent at the climate change rally on April the 29th. Moving along with the remarks that I have to make, and I've already made mention of some of the history of Middle Tennessee. The divestiture movement is taking place across the United States and also overseas. Numerous banks in the parts of Europe and Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, they have either taken measures to divest their monies that were invested in this infamous project or are considering doing the same. A number of cities across the United States have taken up the divestiture movement, most notably Seattle, and from information that I've received, Seattle was the first to divest its funds from the DAPL project. Also, and this is a thought that entered my head as I was reading over some material over the week, I'm assuming that some of the universities probably have money invested in banks that are supporters of DAPL, and they also need to be looked into. I would think MTSU. Some research needs to be done on them to find out if they have monies in this regard. In terms of the history of the No DAPL movement, it's just infuriating, and a couple of things I want to mention in this regard is that the pipeline was originally supposed to run north of Bismarck, North Dakota, which is the capital of North Dakota. But the city of Bismarck, it's an overwhelmingly white city, and their city council passed a couple of resolutions saying that, look, we don't want the pipeline running near our city. No problem. They immediately, the Corps of Engineers, Kelsey Warren, Energy Transfer Partners, they said, well, we'll send the pipeline someplace else. Where are we going to send it? Let's send it to the Indian population. Let's send it to Standing Rock. Native people have been gassed, maced, water cannoned, shot with rubber bullets. They have been tortured, hooded, taken and kept in dog kennels, and still they want to put the pipeline through. Gosh, what do we have to do? White people, all they have to do is just say, we don't want the pipeline. Gosh, we almost get killed trying to stop the pipeline, and it still wants to go through. This is just infuriating to no belief in my estimation.